Okay, so I guess the Indianapolis 500 should be live right now. Um, Last time I checked, they were almost starting. It was rain delayed, so um, I'm definitely trying gonna watch some of that. But um, as it pertains to this race, this Xfinity race that happened yesterday, because I wanted to talk about it. Um, I didn't watch much of this race. Like I watched stage one and stage two, but uh, after stage two ended, I kind of left my house to do some last minute shopping for Mother's Day. Yes, you heard that right, Mother's Day. In my country, we celebrate Mother's Day in the last Sunday of May, so I was a little bit too preoccupied for that. I didn't pay attention to the race. Had some family members coming in as well, so but this was a drivers only broadcast Xfinity race, the annual drivers only broadcast. You know, the one race a year where drivers take over the booth. In this case, you had Joe Logano, Ryan Blaney, and Eric Jones. You also had Keselowski and Cindric over in the studio, and then Carson Hocevar, Ross Chastain, and Josh Berry as the pit reporters. Now, this may or may not be an unpopular opinion, but I love these drivers only broadcasts as a one time thing, obviously, because it offers a great mix of insight and fun. Because, in my opinion, the drivers commentating, they look more engaged than the regular booth on average, and they offer, like, more insight. It's overall better than just regular commentators. Obviously, I like it as a one time thing because I know these drivers are, like, fully occupied. They got their hands full with the Cup Series stuff and all that. But if it's like a once a year thing in Xfinity, this is the broadcast that this is the race that I like, that I look forward to the most, or one of the Xfinity races that I look forward to the most. Not only because Xfinity always runs well at Charlotte, and this race was no exception, but also because I always look forward to see what the drivers have to say on this time around. I think I heard my door knocking. Okay, never mind. That must have been my imagination. Really weird. Qualifying was held on Friday. Ty Gibbs on the pole, running the 20 car. Funny story about that. Aric Almirola was supposed to run the 20 car this weekend, but according to Ty Gibbs himself, the team decided to make the switch last minute and put him in the car. And before you haters comment, this was not even Ty Gibbs' decision. He was unaware that he was going to run this race until Wednesday. This was like a team decision. He hadn't even done any sim for them until after the fact. Of course, speculation is that Joe Gibbs Racing, they did not like Aric Almirola's comments after Darlington when he said that JGR needs to work more on their intermediate track Xfinity program, and for some reason JGR took that as an insult, and they decided to stick it to him by removing him from the next intermediate race, which happened to be the very next Xfinity race at Charlotte. Obviously, we don't know what happened behind scenes. That's just a theory, but well, at least they pulled him out of the car before the race started, unlike last time it happened. But so that's progress at least. But still, if I had a nickel for every time Aric Almirola got pulled out of the JGR Xfinity 20 car, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's pretty weird that it happened twice. Kyle Busch starting behind him in the front row. Yeah, Kyle Busch making his return to the Xfinity Series, driving a third RCR car, the number 33. Again, the speculation is that Kyle Busch decided to run this race at the last minute to try and prove to himself he doesn't suck just as bad as Stenhouse after the altercation that they had last week in the All-Star race. I really doubt that was what really motivated him to. I feel like this was kept under wraps for quite a while, but still. It's still really funny considering the timing of that is pretty funny considering what happened last week in the All-Star race. Chandler Smith third, JGR car, Jesse Love fourth, RCR car. So just like you got JGR and RCR in the front row, third and fourth, it's also a JGR car and an RCR car. Jeb Burton started fifth, qualified fifth, Cole Custer sixth, Sheldon Creed, Austin Hill, Justin Allgaier, and Brandon Jones running out the top 10. Then going down through the field, Parker Retzlaff, he qualified 12th. Matt DiBenedetto, 14th. A great qualifying effort for him. Tanner Gray, or not Tanner, Taylor Gray, the better Gray brother. He qualified 15th in the 19 car. Noah Gragson in 18th, also returning to the Xfinity Series, run the number 30 car for Red Jones Racing, which is a team that he has had connections with since his earlier years. Obviously, it's a Ford team as well, and he's driving for SHR, so he's a Ford driver right now. So they made this. So they made this race happen, and I do think that Gregson is going to be making more Xfinity starts for them. I know he is going to be running at Nashville, and also potentially at Pocono. I don't know, but yeah, Gregson's summer is gonna be a little bit more busy now that he has some Xfinity races coming up. Garrett Smithley qualified 20th, great qualifying effort for him. Dean Thompson 26, making his Xfinity Series debut for Sam Hunt Racing, that 26 car. And this caps off what has been a triple header weeker for him, because he ran the ARCA race on Friday, he also ran trucks, and now Xfinity. Parker Kligerman qualified 28th, Van Gisbergen 29th. Also, Chase Elliott 30th, another Cup driver doing double duty today, running the 17 car for Hendrick. Then Josh Williams 36, Natalie Decker also making her return to the Xfinity Series. This time she's running the 92 for DGM Racing. And finally, JJ Yeley rounds out the field in 38. And finally, the guys that didn't qualify, there were 40 cars who showed up, so 2 guys failed to qualify. Jade Buford running the 74 car for Mike Harmon, and Akinori Ogata in the 35 car for Joey Gase are the 2 guys who failed to qualify. So yeah, we got 4 Cup drivers on the grid with Ty Gibbs, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, and Gragson. You don't see that many Cup drivers in a single Xfinity or truck race nowadays with all the restrictions going on. So it's honestly a pretty refreshing sight to see these guys come down and teach these young guns a thing or two on how to get things done and make good stuff happen in this business. And also, this being the drivers only broadcast, where a lot of Cup drivers also come down. Yeah, there were a lot of Cup drivers involved in this race today, or yesterday. You get what I mean. But yeah, stage 1 begins, the green flag flies, and it immediately becomes a Ty Gibbs and Kyle Busch show. Both of them pulled to a 5-second lead over third place in just 15 laps. And all this while battling for the lead amongst themselves too. But Kyle Busch is clearly superior in the long run, at least for this for the first couple of laps. And he takes the lead from Ty Gibbs on lap 23. And then we got an early caution with Riley Herbst getting spun by AJ Allmendinger. We're trying to make a slide job pass on him for 11th. He cannot make it stick, though. The 16 car hits him on the right rear and sends him spinning into the outside wall, crashing out of the race. So then we go to pit road. Most of the leaders pit, with Ty Gibbs winning the race of pit road over Cole Custer and Kyle Busch. The only drivers who stay out were Jesse Love, Chase Elliott, Anthony Alfredo, JJ Yeley, and Kyle Sieg, and Matty Benedetto gets penalized for a safety violation. So we go to the restart, and Ty Gibbs, he just immediately went to work, giving Chase Elliott a shove in turn 1 to pass Jesse Love, and then Elliott himself in turn 2 to retake the lead. And Chase Elliott just started dropping like a rock, as well as Anthony Alfredo, who also stayed out. Alfredo hit the wall on the restart, actually, and he had to pin under green due to a flat tire. Up front, though, Ty Gibbs, he doesn't lead for long, as Justin Allgaier, who quickly runs him down and passes him for the lead to win stage 1. Ty Gibbs hangs on for second, as Kyle Busch almost got by the 20 for second, but in the end he had to settle for third. Then Brandon Jones 4th, AJ Allmendinger 5th, Sammy Smith, Austin Hill, Chandler Smith, Ryan Sieg and Cole Custer round out the top 10. Chase Elliott and Jesse Love, they dropped to 26th and 27th respectively, just to show you how much tires matter with these Xfinity cars at Charlotte. And then we go to pit road. The leaders stay out. Only Sheldon Creed, Chase Elliott, Jesse Love, Jeff Burton, and several others towards the back of the pack pit. So about half the field. I mean, you got Brendan Poole, Parker Retzlaff, Kyle Sieg, Matt DiBenedetto, Josh Williams. So about half the field, but they were more like towards the back. So the front runners, they stayed out. We go to stage 2. Ty Gibbs has a big moment in turns 3 and 4, going up the track with an off-balance car, and he hits the wall, dropping outside the top 10. Allmendinger also hit the wall of turn 4 that same lap, but it was a harder hit for him than the 20, and he eventually had to come down to pin under green. Allgaier continues to lead up front, with Kyle Busch now second, with Austin Hill third, and Ty Gibbs, as quickly as he lost all of those spots, he made them up just as quick, already back up to fourth in just 10 laps. Behind them, however, the guys on fresher tires, they start making up ground, with Sheldon Creed and Chase Elliott making it all the way into the top 6, when a caution comes out for Kligerman, spinning up of turn 4 after getting loose and crashing into the inside wall. Obviously, that's a DNF. So we go to pit road, and once again, it's a split strategy game. Sheldon Creed stays out, as well as several others who pitted in the previous caution. Chase Elliott, Jeb Burton, Parker Retzlaff, Sammy Smith, Matt DiBenedetto, Josh Williams, Van Gisbergen. Of those who pitted, Allgaier wins the race of pit road, and Brandon Jones has a slow pit stop. He reported that he was losing brakes before the yellow came out. He got fallen down to 19th as well. So we go to the restart. Sheldon Creed is now the leader, with Chase Elliott second, but not for long, as behind them, Kyle Busch and Justin Allgaier, they immediately make up ground on newer tires. They both eventually take the lead from the 18 in the closing laps of the stage, and then they settle it for the lead amongst themselves, with Allgaier prevailing in the end and winning stage 2 to complete the sweep once again. So Kyle Busch finishes second, Austin Hill third, Sam Mayer fourth, Sheldon Creed, he hangs on for fifth. Ty Gibbs, Ryan Sieg, Chandler Smith, Jesse Love, and Noah Gragson complete the top 10 for stage points. Then we go to pit road. Everyone pits. Allgaier wins the race of pit road over Austin Hill, this time, who went from 8th to 2nd, or 6th to 2nd, excuse me. Kyle Busch dropped from 2nd to 5th. But in a shocking twist, both Allgaier and Austin Hill got hit with speeding penalties after coming off of pit road 1-2. And yeah, Kyle Weatherman also got penalized. So with Allgaier penalized, this race just got a bit more wide open. Not that much, because you still had like Ty Gibbs and Kyle Busch in the mix. But now you have a new cast of characters up front, with Jesse Love being the leader. And also Noah Gragson, who stayed out, but he started dropping like a rock, obviously. Kyle Busch took second, while Sheldon Creed, Ty Gibbs, and Sam Mayer battled for third. Kyle Busch eventually makes the pass for the lead on Jesse Love, shortly before a caution comes out for a Kyle Sieg spin in turn 2. The leaders stay out in this caution, only a select few drivers pitted. Gragson, Custer, Haley Deegan, Leland Honeyman, Kyle Sieg. I believe that's the short list of drivers who pitted. Could have been a few more, but we go to the restart, and this 4-car battle for the lead continues. They picked up right where they left off. Kyle Busch, Jesse Love, Sam Mayer, Ty Gibbs. This eventually becomes just a 2-man battle between the 33 and the 1 as they start pulling away. And it was really an awesome battle. Side-by-side racing, crossovers, slide jobs. So they just went back and forth. But of course, eventually Sam Mayer came out of it with the lead after 10 laps of intense action. And he started pulling away to a 2-second lead, leading up to green flag pit stops. And while all this was happening, Cole Custer, he had made his way back into the top 5 after pitting for fresh tires. He was one of the guys who pitted for fresh tires, just like Noah Gragson. We also have issues for Sheldon Creed, though. He had to pit with a right rear brake rotor issue while running 8th. And when the pit crew came down to examine it, they determined that it was a worse issue than expected. I think the brake rotor was on fire. Again, I may be wrong because I didn't pay much attention, and I only managed to watch the highlights because for some reason I was unable to locate the channel where the race was rerunning. You gotta remember, I don't live in the US, so it's way harder for me to find, if I miss a NASCAR race, it's harder for me to find a rerun of the race until, about a week and a half after when NASCAR posted on the official channel. But yeah, Sheldon Creed DNFs, his day is over. Once again, he just cannot catch a break. Not that he was going to win the race, but, he could have at the very least gotten a top 10 out of it. So with this being a long green flag run, like I said, we have pit stops. AJ Allmendinger and SVG start the cycle at around lap 143, and this slowly starts bringing everyone down pit road. Jesse Love, Taylor Gray, Ryan Sieg, Austin Hill, Jeff Burden, Jeremy Clements, and Patrick Emmerling. Ryan Sieg and Jeff Burden were speeding penalties, and speaking of Patrick Emmerling, that 07 had a flat left front tire. The fender was shredded apart. I was surprised no caution for debris was called. I know NASCAR, they are reluctant to throw a caution during green flag pit stops unless it's for something major, but I'm still surprised there wasn't a caution call for that. But yeah, next up, Ty Gibbs, Justin Allgaier, and Parker Retzlaff are the next guys to pit, as well as Cole Custer, Chase Elliott, and Chandler Smith. A pretty close call for Chase Elliott too. He slid the tires coming down pit road. Fortunately, he didn't get penalized, but if that happened, the ending of this race would have gone a lot more different. Believe me when I say that. So all of this pit road movement eventually brought the leader down pit road, as well as Brandon Jones, Sammy Smith, Anthony Alfredo, and Noah Gragson. And then on lap 150, Kyle Busch pits after staying out a bit longer than the other leaders, giving the lead over to Kyle Sieg, who quickly loses it to Sam Mayer on the track a couple of laps later before he makes his pit stop. You gotta remember Kyle Sieg is off sequence after bringing out the previous caution, so he's in a different fuel/tire strategy. So Sam Mayer cycles back to the lead with Ty Gibbs second and Cole Custer third, when another caution comes out with about 30 laps to go for a Ryan Ellis wreck off of turn 2. We go to pit road again. Only Noah Gragson stays out this time. Everyone else pits. Allgaier wins the race of pit road by taking only 2 tires. And Kyle Busch loses a ton of track position after a long, slow pit stop. So this yellow takes us to 25 laps to go on the next restart. And we almost have a big accident right there at the start-finish line when Noah Gragson, who stayed out, spins his tires. Sam Mayer giving him a shove. It didn't help matters either. And on that same lap, Shane Bangisbergen also got squeezed into the wall in turns 3 and 4 by Taylor Gray. Neither of these incidents brought a caution, though. The caution came out shortly afterwards, though, when Allgaier, who had just taken the lead, makes contact with Ty Gibbs off of turn 4. It looked like Allgaier thought he was clear when he was not. The 20 even hit the wall, trying to give him room to no avail. Allgaier is sent into the outside wall, he crashes out of the race. And Ty Gibbs also has pretty significant damage, and he has to pit due to a flat tire that he got due to set damage. Noah Gragson also used his caution to pit for fresh tires. And once again, we go to the restart. Sam Mayer and Chase Elliott in the front row this time. And this time it's Chase Elliott who takes the lead when we got another caution a few laps later for Cole Custer and Austin Hill going at it. And this is the incident that had a lot of people on NASCAR Twitter going crazy that Austin Hill should be suspended. And because I wasn't paying much attention to the race and I was unable to analyze this incident correctly, at the very least I rewatched the highlights, so I know they gave a lot of so now I kind of got a clearer picture now that I rewatched the highlights of the race. I'm not gonna say I rewatched the full race. There may be some smaller details that I missed, but here's the gist of it. Cole Custer was mad that Austin Hill had apparently given him no room off of turn 4, so, he doors the 21 on the front stretch to show his displeasure. Okay, up until that point, it's no harm, no foul, just hard racing between those guys. However, that contact caused the 21 to blow a right front tire. So I don't know what people are saying that Austin Hill wrecked Cole Custer on purpose. I know he spun him out on purpose shortly afterwards, but he didn't. When he moved up the track, it was because he had a flat tire, not because he was trying to wreck the 00 on purpose. But yeah, Austin Hill, he blew a right front tire. This put both of him and the 00, who was still to his outside, in the wall. But then, and this is the moment that's got people talking, Austin Hill apparently decided that Cole Custer getting collected in the mess that he himself created was not enough, so he retaliates by spinning him out on purpose. And the double zero hit the wall with the rear end fairly hard and got massive damage. I believe he had to take it to the garage. Yeah, he got a DNF out of that. I'm just looking at the app right now. Yeah, Custer ended up with a DNF, and this brought out the yellow because there was no caution, and because there was no caution up until that point. And I've seen people on social media say that Austin Hill should be suspended for wrecking a competitor under yellow, but if you look at the moment of caution, that yellow had not come out until the 21 spun the double zero out. Up until that point, the race was still green. So saying that Austin Hill should be suspended because he spun Cole Custer under caution, like, bro, the caution was not out yet. The caution had not even come out until the double zero was sideways. And don't get me wrong, it was still a dick move by Austin Hill. Like, yeah, he's in the right to be mad because, it was Cole Custer who gave him a tire rub in the first place. He was the one who started the whole mess of Hill cutting the tire and the two of them being involved in that mess. But wrecking an already injured race car, I mean, Cole Custer was like already down for the count. Why do you have to pile on to that? That's just the equivalent of kicking a man when he's down. Like, if Cole Custer had come out of it relatively unscathed, like, yeah, I would be more like, yeah, maybe it's understandable why Austin Hill did that, but still, Cole Custer already had damage. I believe he tweeted out something that he had like a cut brake line too, which, in retrospect, Austin Hill spinning him out was pretty dangerous since there were cars coming off the track as well. And Cole Custer, he knew Austin Hill was digging his own grave. I know y'all saw him giving Austin Hill the thumbs up on the replay. He was giving him the thumbs up because NASCAR could look at this and give Austin Hill a fine or dock him points, and they have already set a precedent for this. There's no precedent for suspending someone for wrecking a competitor under green unless it's a right hook, and Austin Hill, he didn't hook Cole Custer. He just stayed on his bumper and just spun him out of the way. He didn't dump him. But yeah, speaking of finding Austin Hill or docking him points, NASCAR has already set a precedent for that. When Noah Gragson wrecked Sage Karam on purpose back at Road America in 2022. So, my final thoughts. Should Austin Hill be suspended? I don't think so. I think people are overreacting to that because of his status as the villain of the Xfinity Series. But I do think NASCAR has enough evidence on the table to at the very least consider a fine or even taking points away from him. Again, I would be shocked if NASCAR doesn't at the very least review that incident because given what Cole Custer said and Austin Hill also being very unapologetic about it, which I just don't know what the fuck is wrong with that guy. I know a lot of people give Austin Hill, I know Austin Hill gets a lot more shit than he deserves, but this is one incident where I just cannot defend him, especially after hearing Cole Custer's side of the story and how his car was basically damaged with the cut brake line, I believe it was. Austin Hill just needs to control his temper. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with him, but you just cannot defend that guy at this point. So anyways, we go to the restart. This is thankfully the final restart of the race. Things got a little bit messy there, but Chase Elliott pulled away once again thanks to getting a shot from Busch, and also Sam Mayer scraping the wall to his outside. And that's all Elliott needed, honestly. He got a clean racetrack ahead of him. Brandon Jones got to second and tried to make things interesting. But he was unable to close in on time. He made a good effort, though. He made it, I believe he was 3/10 of a second, 4/10 of a second. I know he was within half a second on that final lap on Chase Elliott, but Elliott had already built up a 1 second lead with 10 to go, on the restart. He got a pretty good jump, so Chase Elliott wins the Xfinity Series for the first time since Daytona back in February of 2016. And this is also the second win for the 17 car at Hendrick, and both of them come in this season because Kyle Larson, he won at COTA earlier this year in March. So yeah, let's go down through the finishing order here. Brandon Jones finished second despite having brake issues midway through the race. He managed to bounce back. Great finish for him. Sammy Smith finishes third, and believe it or not, this is his first top 5 of the season. Believe it or not. Sam Mayer fourth. AJ Allmendinger fifth. Great bounce back from him after having to pit under green midway through stage 2 after hitting the wall. Kyle Busch 6th, Ryan 6th, 7th, Josh Williams 8th. Nice, great top 10 run for him. He was basically running like outside the top 20, top 25 all race long. So the fact that he came out with the top 10 out of all that's just great. Ty Gibbs 9th, managed to salvage a top 10 finish after the contact with Allgaier pretty much took away all of the race winning speed that he had. Noah Gragson 10th, Kyle Weatherman 11th, Taylor Gray 12th, Jeremy Clements 13th, Shane Van Gisbergen 15th, Anthony Alfredo 16th. Nice rebound from him after having to pit early under green stage 1 due to a flat tire. Another nice rebound for Alfredo. Chandler Smith in 18th, Kyle Sieg 19th, Haley Deegan 20th. Great top 20 day. Pretty quiet day for Haley Deegan, and this is honestly what she needs. Not make much noise, because it feels like the only time Haley Deegan is on camera is when she is, something is happening to her. This was a pretty quiet race. I don't think the camera was on Haley Deegan at all in this in Saturday's race. So yeah, she kept it clean, finished top 20. That's all you need from her. At this point, this is all she needs to do. Austin Hill 25th. I'm surprised he wasn't even parked. But yeah, considering that Austin Hill was not even parked for the remainder of the race after what he did to Cole Custer, yeah, I think some repercussions are coming from that. NASCAR should definitely take a look at that incident, like I said. Matt DiBenedetto 26th. Jesse Love finished 28th. Natalie Decker 29th. Cole Custer 32nd. Justin Allgaier 33rd. Dean Thompson finished 34th. I believe he had a mechanical failure. He DNF'd. Pretty unfortunate. Sheldon Creed 36, Parker Kligerman 37, and Riley Herbst 38th. So again, as always, the Xfinity Series, they put up a great show, and this race was no exception. Tires mattered, comers and goers, strategy, and some crazy restarts where everyone was constantly like 3 to 4 wide for the first couple of laps. And of course, cars slipping and sliding in the early afternoon sky, which is another reason why I love racing when NASCAR races start like at 1 p.m. or noon. Is that it's very hot and slick out there, and that just creates better action for the race cars, just better action on the track. And again, like I said, Fox needs more current Cup drivers to broadcast Xfinity races. If they cannot race due to the restrictions put in place, at least let them commentate or be a part of the broadcast, because I just love it when Cup drivers are involved in either an Xfinity race or a truck race. Not just racing, but like broadcasting or as part of the team, or being with a crew member, stuff like that, because this was one of the better products that Fox has put together so far this season. Across all 3 national series, that drivers only broadcast from yesterday was one of the better broadcasts of the season. And honestly, it has been like that for the past couple of years. And I don't know how much of that is unpopular. I don't know how much of an unpopular opinion that is, but again, that's just my thoughts on that. Today's current drivers make for pretty good broadcasters. I just feel like that's a trend that I've been seeing for the past couple of years with, Kevin Harvick, especially, and also with, Ross Chastain being on the booth. Also, Kyle Busch. The Busch brothers were actually in the booth for quite some time in an Xfinity or even truck race. I remember now from the top of my head, Kyle Busch was, back in 2020, he was on the booth for an Xfinity race at Bristol. And I also know that Kurt Busch was on the booth for COTA, the Circuit of the Americas race at last year. So yeah, you already get the point. I guess I'm just gonna go out and watch the Indy 500 now, because it's delayed, and Kyle Larson already made it clear, and Rick Hendrick already made it clear that Larson's gonna be running He's going to be running at the Indy 500, and they're going to have Justin Allgaier race the Coke 600 instead. Again, it makes sense considering that, you know, NASCAR put a lot of marketing, and Hendrick Motorsports as a whole, they put a lot of marketing on Larson running the Indy 500. So for him to not run it because it's being weather delayed, that honestly would just be a big waste of money. So it was a pretty big commitment that transcends NASCAR, honestly, and it pushes NASCAR to a bigger audience. So again, I don't wanna talk much about Larson because, you know, these are my thoughts about an Xfinity race, but you're gonna hear my thoughts about this more in the Cup race. But the point is, I'm happy that Larson is attempting that Indy 500, but I'm also pretty upset that he won't be able to run. Oh my gosh, the power just went out at my house. I hope this doesn't mean the stream will calm down because I'm almost done with it. Okay, never mind. We're still back up, thankfully. But yeah, my final thoughts on this whole situation. I'm pretty happy that Larson is running the Indy 500 in the end. But I'm pretty upset that he's not going to be able to run all 1,100 miles because this pretty much means that Justin Allgaier will have to start the Coke 600 in his place. And even if Larson subs in as a relief driver for like the second half of the race, whatever miles Larson runs, that would just be a credit to Allgaier. So honestly, you know, it's pretty bittersweet. Just a bittersweet feeling that I have. All I'm gonna say is, fuck you, Mother Nature. Anyways, I'm done.